Hi guys, thank you very much for coming back to my channel. To those new, thank you for stopping by. In this video, I'd like to share with you how to draw the shell, the structure, the primary structure of the buildings. This is based on the Hagia Sophia, the one of the great example of the Byzantine empires over 1,000 years ago. Check this brief video. This is Hagia Sophia, a building that was built for the church, or the Byzantine church in Constantinople, then converted into a mosque during the Islamic conquest and become Istanbul. Located in between Europe and Asia, I'd like to explore the primary structure of this building, which is the main part of the building, the pendentive shell that carry the drum and the dome above the building as the main part, and to simplify and how to understand the primary structure of this engineering marvel of the Byzantine architecture. The Hagia Sophia has three main components, three main structures. The pendentive, or the columns, cubic column below, that carry the drum above the drum, and on top of the drum there's a dome. So the number one is the pendentive, drum, and the dome. So in this video I'm going to share you how to draw the pendentive structure, the shell of that. Please do watch, and before watch, please click the subscribe button. Thank you. Hi everyone, thank you very much for coming back to my studio. And in this video I'd like to share how to draw primary structure, or shell, based on the primary structure of the Byzantine architecture. And in this video, instead of focusing on the finishing or complete building, I like to share how to draw rather the shell, what is hidden behind those beautiful, majestic dome of the Byzantine buildings, such as the great church. There are many Byzantine profound evidence of the Byzantine Empire, such as the Hagia Sophia, which is in Constantinople, now known as the Istanbul after the Islamic conquest. So this drawing is about drawings a structure in perspective without the vanishing point, using the geometry lines as well as the understanding of the building structure, building shell, through drawing, exploring the building's structure through drawing. So starting with the cubic shapes, as I'm doing now, then using to find the center line. Instead of on the side facade to find the central line, I'm starting with the bottom and above of these cubic shapes, as I'm doing now. So crossing, draw the line from one corner to another corner, and the same, once I find where the line cross each other, that will be the center point. By doing that, then I draw the parallel line in the center, connect the rear side to the front side, and likewise on the other side, left and right. That will determine the center point, which I am then draw the vertical line to project that, connect that above surface to the lower surface. I am doing now. Then the next one is, of course, to determine that, and I'm going to do the cross line on the side too, that to find to divide them into half instead of the center point, because the center line on the facade is already determined from the line above and below. So now I'm doing the diagonal lines on the side facade on left and right, that to find the to divide them into half. lower stories and above stories, lower and upper floor basically. The reason I do this is to determine where the changes of the arch will be, and of course I'm going to line the back too. It's going to be hidden, but also as the guidelines. And how I draw the arches is, before I create this curve shape, I draw the diagonal line, where the bottom line of the arch and the top bottom of the arch will be starting using the straight diagonal line, just I am doing right now. It's just like a hip roof, like a pitch roof. Then I draw the curve as I'm doing right now. The reason is to start with this pitch roof shape is because they are in perspective views. So with that diagonal pitch roof shape, then it becomes a guideline and where the curves of these arches will be. So more of a observation measurement, but of course starting with these geometry lines, because without these diagonal line, the curves could be a bit way off or way low, so it won't be look right in perspective. So now I did the front side, left side, and the right side of the front side basically. So now I'm going to do the same things to the rear side there. So these the diagonal straight line will be eventually disappeared as determined by. Now the next one is to connect the top of this arch on all side like this. They give this a flat surface above. So the original cubic shape will no longer be part of this drawing. It's just the guideline. Right, now that I connect the top of these arches on its side using the straight line, again this straight line has become the guideline for the round shape of this, the top of this. It's going to be round circular shape above these arches, just like this. So just project it. The reason why this line, the straight line there, is to give kind of a rough measurement, so it's not going to be off. So in a way, more of a measurement using the observation measurement to create this sense of a symmetrical round shapes, symmetrical on each side. And of course I'm going to, using that first outline, then I will offset it to the inward like this, because this is going to be a cavity above, opening like this. And of course add more here just to adjust this drawing. Now on the arches, the vertical, the straight diagonal line then become the again as the beginning of the thickness of these arches as offset inward, just I'm drawing right now. Then we project to the column below, just like this. Right, now looking, the technique is here. This is just brief a bit of a understanding of this structure. When it comes to the ancient building or the earliest architecture structures, because most of the architecture derived from the sacred buildings, religious building, not from the domestic building. Everything derived from the religious building for the glory of God. So in this Byzantine building structure, it has nothing to do with engineering calculation or be a mathematician's understanding to calculate the weight in terms of tension and compression of the structure. This is purely to do with the master builder using the rule of thumb. I would say the understanding of using geometry to understand how the structure works. It using bricks or stone at a time. And of course, way 1,000 years before, the construction of dome were done with different kind of material, using all sort of material. But as the time went by, the Christianity used the dome in a developed in a different way by the introduction of mortar or concrete and use it into a much bigger structure. Now, back to the drawing itself, and of course on that side, the hidden part of the columns will be imitate exactly as all of these four corners of the columns. I need to adjust this line to so it the what inside there, the cavity is still visible. Right, this round shape is in will be where the rest of the dome structure will be rested on. In terms of the architecture language, this part of the structure for the churches, like the Byzantine church, is named as Pendentive. That's what it's called. I don't know why they call it Pendentive. This is what I did, what I understand from my research. So now I'm going to draw a line just to imitate the shape of this, above the round shape, the circular shape. These will be the layers of stones or brick. But of course, I started with the center of the surface, then divide them into half, and again exactly the same things, or starting with the center, so make it simple and methodical. Line, creating start with the line, the middle of the line, the middle of the surface, divide into half, or repeat the same thing, or side. And the next one is to draw the again the central line in between this flat surface of the column above, below, starting with the central point and divide them to half. Basically the same techniques to make this drawing much clearer. And of course, these horizontal lines on the surface is used as the guideline, and at the same time this line will be the indication of the material property of this structure. And as known, most of the old buildings, such as the Byzantine architecture or during the Romans architecture, when there weren't reinforced concrete weren't invented yet. So these things are mainly to do with bricks, flat bricks, stones, strong, durable materials, and using the understanding of how structure work, at the same time using the certain kind of material that works. And now the next one is to indicate how these arches works in terms of the stone or brick layer. And I create this center point, basically using this center point of the surface, which I created using the diagonal line, assuming there is a center point. So each of these brick on these arches will be laid pointing toward the center of this arch opening. That is the reality how they are laid. And before I go further with the layer, I'm going to add more layers of lines in between this structure, make it much more compact. The reason is because each of that line will be connected and to the bricks that carry the arches, that form the arches. So to make it clear, each line will finishing with that bricks that pointing toward the center of the arches. That how to understand this, how this building works. Similar to this side too. And my paint nib will be draw direct toward the center of the arches, how they usually laid. And of course, on the perspective drawing is slightly different, but this is how they work. Now, when it comes to the opening above, again, I already know where the center point on this flat surface, but instead of make it flat, I lowered the center point below, slightly below this cross line, and project that line toward the opening. The reason is because in reality, because the nature of this, the shape of this shell, just above the pendentive structure, is slightly pointing toward below, because it form the curved shape, form the arch, but this is not going to be the dome. It's a form the dome basically, but this opening, the structure, this is the one going to carry another component known as the drum. The drum that will be extruded above it, that will carry the dome shell. But for now it's about drawing the shell, the primary structure. And before I move forward, I'm going to add more detail on this brick rather than just a straight horizontal line. I'll give a bit of detail on the how these bricks are laid. Basically, it's normal way. It's these old churches, this fascinating form of structure. There's nothing, no reinforcement, just purely brick and mortar. Glue them, and yet strong. And many of these Byzantine buildings, architecture survive until today. And similar how on the side too, indication of the detail of these bricks. And of course this is the drawings and more of a miniature sculpture. So I'm going to add more of that detail on the side of the pendentive. The name of this triangular shape in a way that hold the above shell and connect the column below, that is particularly named as the pendentive. I'm going to add that more detail on the brick on that side too. big curves inside, hidden under the opening shell between the vault or arches on the side. And again, similar on the inward side, assuming the center point. So project each of the bricks toward that. I'm going to add more detail on that arch as well, how this brick inside works. Yeah. And again, how these brick or stones work on the columns. And pretty simple, just repeat the same thing. So when it comes to this structure, building structure, I know the finishing product of the building looks much more complex than this, but the point of this drawing is about to explore and to understand the primary structure of these Byzantine buildings, churches. This is the main structure, and of course, once this shell completed, the wood drum and column drum above and the dome above it, and the side building beside them, and the smaller part, that what make them look so complicated. But this is the most important structure, because such a huge primary structure to enclose the main part of the church, or the main part of the large gathering, or during the congregation, during the service, and big open space that requires a certain kind of structure. And there was no advanced material that we have today, such as the steel or reinforced concrete. So using these ancient material, bricks, mortar or stone, the master builders, purely using the understanding of how the material work in terms of compression. And bricks, stone are known for being durable when it comes to compressions. So how it works is about the curved shape of these arches is connected with pendentive that will carry each one of the weight from above, the drum and the dome, the arches, to take all the pressure to compress it on each of these columns, on each side of the columns. And using the form, the shape of the arch, understanding the material property that is only good with compression but not good with tensions, and steel is good with tension, not brick, not concrete. That's why the master builder at the time didn't really need any engineer to do the engineering calculation. They purely using geometry understanding and understanding of the material property. That's why most buildings were using arches, domes. But these days, a lot of arches, most buildings are high opening space without arches or without any dome, but flat roof, because the material property that we have these days are much more advanced and available, using steel, lightweight. And the ancient building mainly using bricks that were available at the times. So each building were built not because of the intention to look the way it looks. Of course, the look is secondary, but most important thing is they work together in terms of look, in terms of structure, capability, and the master builder at the time. So that's what makes these Byzantine architectures is so important in our modern architecture today. It has the beginning, and it's beautiful to understand rather than just appreciate the way it looks. But the look of each building has a reason for it, and of course what you see is what you get. And the structure form not just the way the building works in terms of structure, but also if work in terms of functionality, or another word is both ethically and aesthetically appealing as well. So which is why I like the traditional or classical building or architecture, because we understand the meaning and from the way it looks rather than just arbitrary design and shape or form. So now I like to hatch the light side on this rather than just blank white, a bit to give a bit of a texture on this material property. And of course I like to repeat the hatching vertical for now to make it much darker, to make it much more impulsive, to give it the contrast between light and dark. Otherwise this line drawing is just line and it will be boring. The what drawing exercise is about, you have to enjoy it. But above all of the drawings, for any artists, designers, architect out there, or anyone who interested in drawing, when drawing, it is important to always think about three-dimensionally, because drawing is two-dimensional before crafted into the three-dimensional world. And what makes drawing become alive is the secret is about the feeling. You have to have a feeling. Drawing is all about feeling, and of course the execution of drawing is about being methodical, be clear, with intention to draw. That's what this drawing exercise is all about. And I think we are going to reach the end of this drawing exercise, and I hope everyone who have watch my videos will learn something new from these drawing lessons. And to those new, and don't forget to subscribe and share, and it's worthwhile to share for educational purposes. And thank you. If something mistakes not correct, please let me know, so what I can do to make it better before finish. As I said before, this drawing is not about just drawings or buildings, but more of exploring the Byzantine architecture that related to the primary structure. Thank you very much.